Well, hello again, and today we have a really short devotional that I've been thinking about all morning. I was thinking about the day that Jesus was crucified on a tree. And I remember how he was crucified between two criminals, one on each side. Then one of the criminals hanging there began to yell insults at Jesus, saying, "Aren't you the Messiah? Why don't you save yourself and all of us?" But the other criminal, rebuking him, said, "Don't you even fear God, since you are undergoing the same punishment? We are being punished justly because we're getting back what we deserve for the things we did, but this man has done nothing wrong." And so that criminal turned to Jesus and said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." And Jesus said to him, "Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise." I think if we're honest, many of us tend to let certain people into heaven, and yet others we gladly hope, maybe not openly, but quietly, we gladly hope they're suffering torment for all the wickedness that they did. Murderers, thieves, adulterers, abusers, the Hitlers and the Mansons of the world. Boy, I've heard so many people say, "I hope they're rotting in hell, being tormented in the fires of darkness." I'm going to be bold enough to say something. If this is your attitude towards some of these hardened criminals, these murderers, and other people who live in wickedness, then you really have yet to understand the good news of God. You really don't get it. You don't understand the grace and mercy of God and the power of the gospel of Christ to save even the most wretched. The moment a person takes their last breath on earth should be the last breath you take in forming any judgments about where that person is spending eternity. Those two thieves that were crucified with Jesus, who knows what crimes they committed during their lives before they found themselves hanging on a Roman cross alongside Jesus. We've got no clue about their lives. But what we see one of them turning to Jesus at the last moments of his life and humbly asking for mercy for what he's done. And without hesitation, Jesus accepted the man's cry for help and promised him a home with him in paradise. God made it clear in the prophet Ezekiel. He said, "I do not take pleasure in the death of the wicked." So I think we all should check ourselves at the door. And instead of rejoicing that someone you think is too wicked and that it should be suffering now eternal torment, maybe you should leave room for God's judgment. Maybe leave room for God's revenge. And at the very least, pray that all men everywhere will find mercy and grace in the gospel, the good news of God. Like the song says, there is no pit so deep that Jesus is not deeper still. There is no emptiness too great for him to fill. There is no life so lost that Jesus cannot restore. There is no one beyond the reach of the love of our living Lord. Until next time, friends, think about it.